one thing I did want to hit on is the top 5 Lego sets for investment 2018-2019 season. I get asked this question all the time. Anybody I talk to about toys and what I do and how I collect and how I sell stuff, they're like, how do you do that? How do you get into it? What do you know to buy? What do you know? Like a guy I go and see at the U.S. Post Office every day. He's like just the guy that kind of sweeps the floors.
Mm-hmm.
He asks me every single time I go in there, like, "Oh, what do you sell? What's in these boxes?" Like he's so interested, and I'm like, I could tell you all about it, man. It's such a hole to get into, and like I just don't think if you don't have the appreciation for this stuff, it's like not something you want to get into. But just in case you guys have been listening and you're interested in collecting Lego, or you already do this. This is my top 5 sets for investment. This is based off of just my gut feelings of doing this for a very long time of what you would pick up now in this Christmas holiday season to sell around this time next year, and that's typically the cycle. Lego sets typically retire around this time, and then it's best to sell them a year or two later. So you would buy them now, wait a whole year, and then sell them. So that's the whole way the investment works.
There you go, man. Lay it down.
So here we go. Top 5 sets. I'm going to start off with the NASA Apollo Saturn. This is a Lego Idea sets. I've talked about it on the cast at length. It's one of my favorite sets ever made. So again, the Ideas line, I've mentioned this even last cast. This is fan-made creations that Lego picks up. They're voted on, and they totally make them into a set. This one is a very large NASA Apollo rocket. It's the one that went to the moon for the first time, so it has a lot of appeal. There's a lot of cool little builds in it, and it's around $120. Again, it's very difficult to find in most stores. I think we should put links, if we do this YouTube style, in the description of where people can find these, but really all these are available in the Lego store. Some of them are back ordered, but you can still get them. So this is a $120 set. I expect this one to close to double in price, honestly, in like a year or two. So this definitely be a cool one to pick up. It's a little bit more expensive. I'm gonna rattle all through these unless you want to.
I won't comment on every single one, but I do want to say with this specific set, I just love the little pieces in there that are the little tiny minifigures.
Oh yeah,
little micro figures.
Yeah, you get micro figures in
That's
here.
awesome, because if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that piece was developed to be like a statue or like a trophy or something.
You are correct.
And now they're painting it and pushing it off as real people.
Yeah.
I love that.
So the micro figures are like, you can hold the micro figure. A minifigure can hold a micro figure in their little minifigure hand. So that's how small they are. And they did start off as like a little trophy, and now they're getting painted. They're showing up in more and more sets, but there's collectors out there that are just after these micro figures. The one thing I'll mention about this set has entirely printed pieces, and that's why it's one of my favorite sets. Nice. You know how much I hate stickers. Most of the community hates stickers. People that buy sets hate stickers. So like this is a good investment from that standpoint.
All right, man. Number 2, everybody loves Boba Fett.
No, number 2, Boba Fett's Slave One Ultimate Collector Series Star Wars set. This one's been out for a little bit. I figured it would be retired already. The Ultimate Collector Series sets typically do really well. If it's something that you're concerned, like, will I be able to get rid of this? People always buy the Star Wars sets, so even if it doesn't appreciate too much in value, it's something that's going to be picked up. You can actually still get this on the Lego store, but I think it's back ordered right now. But that's definitely one to pick up in the Star Wars line. The next one is a modular building. So I've talked about these on the cast as well. There's like been about 12, I think, modular buildings. They're very large scale, about $150. The Parisian Restaurant, these retire like on a set cadence every single year, so it's very easy to predict when these will retire. The Parisian Restaurant is the next one up to retire. They typically have not too many printed pieces, but they do have bricks that are like in colors that are not used all that often. So that's what really drives up the value. So this Parisian Restaurant has a very specific green tint to the bricks in the majority of the build. And even if like somebody wants to buy the bricks elsewhere, those are too expensive, so they end up just buying the whole set on eBay. So it's like, this is like, we're getting into like super meta here for like why you would want to get into these things, but that's a good reason to pick up the Parisian Restaurant. It's around $160. These are more on the expensive side. The Slave One is around $200. But I do have a cheaper one here next. Do you want to say anything about the Parisian Restaurant?
No, I think it's hysterical that they that they need the bricks, so they'll just buy the set.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many of them. There's such a volume in the set of a weird color that like they don't make them in any other set, so they're very rare. And it's so that was in the same line as like Cafe Corner, which is the like most infamous set for being like over $1,000 really fast. So that started at like $130, now it's $1,000. You won't get the same thing here, but I would expect this to at least get up to around I don't know, like $250 around next time this time next year. All right, the next one I think you'll be a little bit more interested
excited about this.
This is the Jurassic Park, one of the only Jurassic Park sets made. There's a lot of Jurassic World, but this is the one Jurassic Park set. It's the Velociraptor Chase. this happens this is the scene where they're in the like the final scene in the movie when the Velociraptor's trying to break into, what would you call that? Like the monitoring room?
Looks like, oh, well, there is a side piece where it looks like the kitchenette set.
Is the kitchenette set in there too?
It's like behind it, yeah.
All right, well, I think it's more like
that the kitchen?
The computer room where like Nedry did all his dirty work.
Yeah, the mainframe.
Yeah, the mainframe where they're trying to flip the power back on, essentially. Yeah. All that stuff happened in the end of the film, and like she's hacking into the computer. That's like what you're getting.
Yeah, where Alan Grant and Ellie are trying to keep the door closed and get the gun with their feet.
That is it.
And then you have Lex on the computer actually doing something. You got Timmy not doing anything behind her that could have easily helped them get the gun.
Yeah, he's being a useless piece of crap. So you can recreate all that if you want to with this little set. What is it? $40, I think. I should really click this open. But
$40.
Yeah, $40. This is something that's not that old, but I think it was a store exclusive, I think, to Target. So again, it's hard to find. Or Walmart, one of those stores. You can still get it on Lego Shop. This is more of a gamble, I would say, but it's a smaller gamble, so it's not so expensive. But I expect this to retire early, even though it wouldn't normally retire at this Christmas season. But I expect it to like maybe last a little bit through Christmas and then be really hard to find after that. And probably of all the Jurassic World sets put out, this will be the one that rises to the top of what collectors want, because again, it's harder to find, and it's original Jurassic Park, and it's the only original Jurassic Park.
And you got printed pieces on here. I'm seeing that one with the actual traditional Jurassic Park logo printed piece. Are there any other sets like that?
See, I don't know if these are printed pieces. I'm pretty sure they're all stickered.
Oh, okay.
That's why they did put out a couple Jurassic World sets in the Juniors line, and the Juniors line uses all printed pieces rather than stickers, which is why I'll probably tend to gravitate towards those when it comes to investing. But I'm pretty sure these are all stickered. There might be a few printed pieces, but it's largely stickered.
That's a shame because you get
it's a big shame.
Nublar map on there.
Man.
That's awesome.
It's a big shame. Don't take me that 100% that they're all stickered, but I'm pretty sure it's all stickers.
All right, what's the last one?
All right, so the last set we have here, it's very on point for the holiday season. This is the Winter Holiday Train. So this is in that line of sets, if you listen to the last cast, of all the holiday sets that I pick up every year. They release one a year. Really routinely, and then as they release a new one, they usually retire the one from the previous year. What they've done in a couple years is they've kept around a set from about 2 years back, and that's the Winter Holiday Train. So it was definitely, it had a lot of excitement when it came out because it's an actual train that you can build, and then it's very essential to the whole town feel of all these sets that you're picking up every year, because it's how people move around to each of the different little sets that you build. So it should have been retired already, and like people probably picked it up last season thinking that it would be retired now and they could sell it. But this is definitely something that people will be interested in after this Christmas season. So I don't expect this to last a whole another year. I would expect this to be the year that this ends. It's around $100. It's already hard to find. It's already back ordered. Even this might be one, I don't condone scalping, but this might be one that you're able to pick up now and still sell this Christmas season just because it's so hard to find.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does this look like the same one that got released?
So there was, yeah. It's the exact same one that was released 2 years ago. So there's one that was released about 10 years ago, I want to say. That one went up crazy in value. For whatever reason, like trains always sell really well. It's not, I'm not super into trains, but like there's a community out there that happens to love Lego and trains.
You got the little kids into trains, and then you got like older guys.
Yeah, like 90-year-old guys that just love looking at trains and having them move around and building their sets.
You got a strong demographic there.
There's a good crossover for sets that do well between Lego and trains. So it's kind of hitting all the marks. It's holiday themed. That's already in a line that puts something out every year, which is always more collectible because people will get the new sets and they'll be like, oh man, look at this back catalog of all this stuff that's been released. Oh my gosh, there was a train. I need the train. So this is a really safe bet, I think, for this season. I really don't think they're going to bring it back next season because they already have 3 sets in market right now in the holiday line, and I think that's too many. So I would expect this to be retired this season, and then you could sell it around next season perfectly for the holidays. Nice and easy. First one to dip your toe in the water if you want to get into this stuff.
Cool. Appreciate you putting the list together, man.
You got it, man. It actually didn't take as long as I thought it would.